Godou Kusanagi is on an island on the Mediterranean Sea. He plans to return a stone tablet entrusted by his grandfather back to its former owner. While he's walking, Erica Blandelli, a knight of the Copper Black Cross, threatens him to hand over the stone tablet, calling it a grimoire. Godou can't understand what she's saying, cause she's Italian. Understandably, he doesn't speak Italian, so she switches to Japanese, but says it's actually English. He asks if she's mugging him, assuming this is what a mugging looks like. Erica is caught off guard by this, calling him rude for saying so. The two of them hear a loud roar, causing them to be sent into a different dimension, of space and time. A boar is summoned by a rogue god named Verethragna. Erica fights it, telling the boy to flee. Erica calls for her maid, Eriana, and the two of them drive off in the sports car, but it becomes increasingly dangerous. So Erica uses the boots of Hermes to jump into the air to get closer. Erica casts a magical spell to summon her legendary blade to fight the divine beast. Attempting to find Erica, Godou runs, but he trips. Verethragna is obsessed with victory, whose motive was to revive all the ancient gods so that he could defeat them. Verethragna allows the boy to keep the tablet. When learning he was delivering it to someone else, he makes a hint that it will become Godou's very soon. Godou sees a Pegasus, and they vanish. Although Erica is unable to stop the boar in time, Godou rescues her before the boar disappears. Erica explains that they're facing a rogue god that escaped from their astral plane, with them controlling natural disasters. Erica later discovers that Godou is delivering the grimoire to Lucrezia, with this confusing her, not knowing how his grandfather would know the woman. From what he knows, Godou assumes that the two of them dated. Erica decides to tag along with him, with her also mad that they have to take the train. She states that it's her duty to make sure that the grimoire is safe. In a dark room, the antagonist of the story is plotting their next move. Erica's maid, Eriana drives them to Lucrezia's house. With her being a terrible driver, a talking cat comes to greet them, with this being the older woman's familiar, so that she doesn't have to walk around, because she's rather lazy. Godou is aroused by the woman's appearance. Confused why she doesn't look her age, Lucrezia admits that she is older than most humans, but remarks that her body isn't in decline yet, offering to let the big boy take her body for a ride, with Erica not believing what she's seeing right now. While there, Lucrezia reveals that the grimoire is based on the book of Prometheus, admitting bad things would happen if it fell into sinister hands. After hearing that the boy encountered a god on his way here, she tells Godou to look after it. That night, Erica and Eriana drink bottles of wine, many, with Erica mistaking Godou for Eriana, telling the girl to help her get ready for bed. He tries his best, and when he's about to leave, the door won't open, leaving him stuck inside with Erica, with this being because Lucrezia locked the door, saying from what she's seen so far, he has the same talent as his grandfather when it comes to attracting women. The next day, as Erica is about to begin a round of his punishment, they hear a loud crash, encountering another road god named Melquart, who comes here for a battle against another god. Having learned of the 10th incarnations from the grimoire, Godou asks Melquart to form an alliance with him against Verethragna, but in doing so, draws him into the battle. Verethragna attacks him using the golden sword. The sword is able to steal divinity away from a god. Erica tells him to run, but Godou can't leave. Wanting to see how this was going to play out, Erica kisses him on the cheek and asks for a good show. Godou summons a beast of fiery energy. Using the grimoire, Godou steals Verethragna's golden sword. He yells at her to tell him what to do, with Erica liking this, kissing him, awakening his power, where he summons a graveyard of golden swords, becoming the Campione, and defeating Verethragna, with Campione standing for Godslayer. Godou has a dream of meeting Pandora, being the mother of all Campiones. With her having the appearance of a little girl, she hereby dubs him a Campione. When Godou wakes up, he's back in Japan, putting on his clothes and getting ready for school, with him actually spending a week with other Campiones testing his abilities. When he's done getting dressed, he realizes that Erica followed him to Japan, with her being inside his bed. The girl asks for him to get her a cappuccino, demanding that it be hot, or she won't be able to function. His younger sister, Godou Kusanagi, gets the whole story, becoming increasingly annoyed by it. Godou honestly is confused by all this, with her attitude towards him completely switching. The two of them argue, with Godou unable to win, with this being because he's unable to focus, sneaking peeks at her body, with Erica throwing him off without forward she's being, and letting him have his way. Verethragna accepts his defeat, allowing for him to wield the sword and all of his avatars, telling him they will battle again. Erica transfers to Godou's school, confusing him, causing a lot of confusion and trouble on her first day, with her already promising herself to Godou, and using her magic to make the girl next to him move seats, with him becoming the most hated guy there now. But it gets even worse when Erica tells the entire class what they did the night before. In a botched attempt to escape the mayhem, Godou meets a princess shrine maiden, being Maria Yuri. Liliana Krenjar has to serve Sasha de Janstal Volban, being another Campione. Maria is timid girl who can't help but speak too formal to Godou, knowing he's already a Campione, being the future king of Japan. Godou learns from Toma Amaterasu, who's a member of the Committee of the Complication of True History, which is basically the magical organization in Japan, telling him about the possibility that Erica's seducing him so that he can join the Copper Black Cross, being the organization that she follows. Godou has mixed feelings about all this, assuming that must be the reason that she's following him, confronting her about this, dropping hints about this to her. Erica admits that's an understandable reason, but not the case, asking him out on the date. Erica brings Godou back to Rome, upon requesting to meet a representative of the Magician Society, with her wanting to show off his powers, facing off in a duel. Erica forces him to show his true power. Godou has 10 avatars, having more abilities than most of the Campiones. The representatives decide to entrust Godou with a grand grimoire upon seeing his abilities. Godou also finds out that Erica chose to be with him out of true love, and not because of any orders her superiors gave her. Yuri is tasked by Amaterasu to verify that if a round grimoire called the Gregorian has been brought to Japan by Godou, with him unknowingly bringing it back to Japan. After learning so, Yuri lectures him, asking him how could he be so reckless, even if he didn't know what he was doing, explaining to him that the prophecy of the Princess Elise foretells that the Gregorian is going to bring about the end of the world, known as the Starless Night, if it's obtained by the rogue god Athena. Upon hearing this, Godou and Erica set out to find and stop Athena, to try and buy enough time for Yuri to steal the Gregorian away. Unfortunately, Athena kisses Godou, with this being an unexpected move to take him out, forcing Erica to fight back, with her being Godou's only knight, vowing to protect him, but to no avail, she's defeated, with Athena able to heal all her wounds. Yuri, on the other hand, is approached by a girl named Eriana Krengar, a knight of the Bronze Black Cross, who has come to take it away from her. Luckily, Amaterasu arrives just in time to rescue her. The spellcaster seals her away temporarily in a box. Godou wakes up on Erica's lap, with him finding it unbecoming of a future king to do so, allowing her to get hurt. Erica tells him that Athena has gone after the Gregorian, meaning Yuri's in danger, with him having to use the golden sword to defeat her, meaning he's gotta want it to receive the power. Erica kisses Godou in order to transfer information about the origins of the Gregorian, but this is interrupted when the setting of the sun turns into darkness. In the car, Erica wants to continue where they left off, mentioning no one's around, with of course Eriana staring at them. Yuri tries to seal away the grimoire, with the artifact not responding to her. Godou calls her, and the two of them share a close conversation, with him ultimately telling her if something happens to call out his name, planning to use his Tempest. With Amaterasu hearing this, finding her a little dense for not seeing where this is going, Godou feels guilty for involving her, with Erica agreeing that that's exactly what he did, but finding the girl to be more put together than he thinks of her, allowing Godou to give close to her, with him not knowing what this means, allowing her to be the number 2, but as long as he always knows that she's gonna be number 1. During this, Athena gets to her first, breaking the barrier she had in place. Liliana comes to her aid, defending her for a moment. Athena is able to easily acquire the grimoire and transforms herself into her true goddess form. A veil of darkness surrounds her as the queen, Athena, is born again. Yuri thinks about Godou as hard as she can, believing in him, with him suddenly appearing. During the transformation, Yuri absorbed the wind of death, with this becoming fatal, but before the battle, he heals her. Erica gives him the key to victory via a kiss. Erica powers his sword, and the two of them begin their battle on a land of gold. Godou makes her show her snakes, and a hail of swords turn them into stone. He begins to speak about her past, reminding her about her weaknesses. The myths of her origins were made to be rewritten after she lost, with her ultimately being a fallen queen, and in legend, meant to be a dragon for a hero to overcome. Erica gives Godou a lance to pierce through Athena, returning her back to her youth form, and he allows her to leave in defeat. The next day, Godou faces Yuri's wrath, with this being because of his latest natural disaster, not allowing Erica to have her way. So this is where we leave on today's video. If you liked the video, here's another one just like it, so go check it out. I'll be breaking down this anime into multiple parts. Now, if you liked the video, make sure to give it a like. And, why not subscribe? I'll be uploading daily videos just like this one. So I'll see you next time.